Good afternoon, fellow hockey fans. The second round is over, but the third round is just around the corner, literally. So I'm here now with this review of round two. First things first, Carolina. Mm, what a buzzsaw they are. And I'm not to say it because their logo looks like one, but it's amazing. They just went through the Islanders like that. And how about the Islanders? See, this is how cruel hockey can be. The Islanders swept Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh now. They swept Pittsburgh or to get swept by an upstart team. So Carolina, for the first time in a decade, is off to the Eastern Conference Final. And who knows where they'll go from there. We know who they will face. They will face the Boston Bruins, who um, ended Columbus's Cinderella run with their Game 6 victory. But it's amazing. But the whole thing, Columbus, that was amazing. Columbus was an amazing story this year. I mean, here's a team who had the least success. It still kind of does by a hair. They had the least success of all the other NHL teams. They entered the league as the only team that had never won a playoff series, and they had only won 5 games total. 5 playoff games total entered this year. They won 6 alone this season. They beat out the 62-win Tampa Bay Lightning, and they hung in there with the historically tough, championship-proven Boston Bruins team. So obviously, Columbus is nothing to be ashamed about. I mean, this is the best season they've ever had. Problem is, though, what I've heard, a lot of those key pieces they may not be around after this season. Bobrovsky, Panarin, Duchesne, who they got in that trade just about a month or so, couple months ago, they may not be around after this season. I hope they are. I hope they are in Columbus because Ohio needs some. Well, I was gonna say Ohio needs something, but the Browns getting better and things are looking up for some other teams in the state, but they need something. They need something in hockey. The Jackets could be that team that pesters teams. Maybe not wins, but pesters teams. They're always doing a good job so far. St. Louis and Dallas. That was a crazy series. Even crazier ending, that Game 7. I feel so sorry for Ben Bishop. I really do. I watched that Game 7 on Tuesday. That poor man had to do everything by himself. He just simply ran out of gas. That's what happened. Right before that goal was scored, if I remember, I think St. Louis had a 2-1 shot advantage. Ben kept him in the game. He was the only one keeping him in the game because his teammates sure as hell weren't doing anything. And he just ran out of gas and he just got exhausted. That's when Pat Maroon got that little puck past him. So St. Louis is in the West Final for the second time in 4 years. They last made it this far in 2016. And the second round ended last night, and unfortunately, so did the journey for our beloved Colorado Avalanche. We came up just a little bit short. Missed it by that much. 3-2 loss to the Sharks, but hey, what can I say? It was still much like Columbus. Even though the Avs have a bit of a championship history, Colorado and Columbus were pretty much in the same boat. Two teams that had to kind of silence doubters. Columbus did that, and so did the Avalanche. Nobody thought we would get. People thought that we would get to the playoffs, but nobody thought we would, for one, enter on such a hot roll we did, and number two, nobody thought we would get past Calgary. A lot of people had Calgary just decimated us, but we decimated them. And even in defeat, we hung in there with a Sharks team that is actually capable of winning the whole thing. We went the max against a very game with a very strong Sharks franchise, and that's definitely a feather in our caps. So we had a very, very good year. We keep on getting better since having the worst record in the league. And again, just remember, 2 years ago we had the worst record in the entire league. And then it was last year we made that great run. We nearly doubled our point total and made the playoffs in the final day. And this year we made the playoffs on our 81st game of the season and won a series for the first time since 2008 and nearly got to the conference final for the first time since 2002. So I dare say any doubters of the Avalanche, they pretty much been silenced. And if there still are any doubters, well, I feel for you. Well, actually, I don't. You all, actually, I don't. If you do still doubt us, you are idiots. But I think this is the beginning for the Avalanche. We're back to those golden years. We're going to get in there every year and fuck shit up. I kind of it can't continue because we got bounced in the second round, but we have a golden ticket known as the number 4 draft pick. Thanks, Ottawa. Oh man, and we have an extra third round draft pick again. Thanks, Ottawa, and thanks to Shane. So anyway, the Final Four is all set and it all starts tonight. The East, like I said, it's Boston and Carolina. Now, for all you sports fans worried about the whole Boston championship sweep, you can relax. The Celtics, they got beat in the NBA playoffs, so that's not going to happen. But the Bruins are still around. I myself have no problem. They're pretty much the only New England team that I actually don't hate. But even with this, I kind of hope Carolina wins because I love a Cinderella story. Plus, it's hockey. The NHL is an unpredictable league. So, and plus, Hurricanes seem to be on a mission. And plus, the head coach is the guy who was on that great BBC line from 2006. So, everyone knows about where the cup. It's Ron Brindleman. So, on the other hand, let's have the West side. West side is San Jose and St. Louis. This is a rematch of the West Final from 3 years ago. And that was a crazy season. San Jose final got to the Stanley Cup final that year after all those playoff appearances, and then coming up short, very at round 3. They finally made it to the final round 3 years ago, only to be beaten by Pittsburgh. San Jose won the West Final in 6 games, and I think just like let's see, I think no, I think St. Louis had home ice that year. San Jose will have it this time. So my picks. I'm going with Carolina. Pretty much everybody because everybody wants that Stanley Cup. Plus, a lot of sports fans don't like Boston teams. So yeah, I'll say Carolina in 6. I'll say Carolina in 6 for the East. For the West, well, even though the Sharks went through my Avalanche, this West Final kind of hits me as a sentimentalist because here are two teams that never won. Here are two teams that never won a cup. St. Louis has been the 3 finals in franchise history, but never won a finals game. San Jose had the one appearance 3 years ago and came 2 wins short. So here these are two teams looking for their very first Stanley Cup. So the sentimentalist in me kind of would be happy either way. However, if I had to choose, I'd go with the Sharks. I think they're on a mission. I think they're on a mission to end that label of being failures and coming up short too many times. Like I said, they've had all those playoff appearances, but they've only been to the final once and still haven't won it. And of course, I think St. Louis is on that same mission too. They've never won a Stanley Cup final game, let alone the Stanley Cup. But I think the Sharks are going to be too much for the Blues. I think Binnington's luck is finally going to run out, and I do mean luck. St. Louis has had a horseshoe up their ass ever since New Year's Day. So yeah, these are my picks. Canes in 6, Sharks in I'm gonna say 7. I think that's going 7 too. I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, that should be a good final, Canes and Sharks. The two main things Sci-Fi has made Sci-Fi Channel's made disaster movies about hurricanes and sharks. Well, in the Sharks case, it's Sharknado, but I digress. But anyway, so the Stanley Cup Playoffs has been fun and insane. Just think there's 2 rounds of this left. So I'll be back to review the conference finals and congratulate those who won the East and West and will pay for the cup. And until then, enjoy the rest of the playoffs.